I swear, if I have to look at one more store on a Brooklyn theme, I'm gonna flip the fuck out. Alright guys, so this is Jake with Casual Ecommerce, and in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about choosing a Shopify theme. Now, I don't actually want to go ahead and tell people which themes to choose because it's not exactly that black and white. Now, other than the fact that you should avoid the Brooklyn theme at all costs, and that's just because it's so oversaturated, and at this point so many people have used it that it just has a bad reputation around it. But in this video I want to go ahead and give you a few tips that you can use that when you're deciding on which theme you want to use, what type of look you want to have for your store. You can go through these tips and hopefully it can help you pick the correct theme that fits the vibe you're trying to portray. So with that said, if you like content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And if you notice, my backdrop is a little different. I'm not at home. I'm about 13 hours away, so you got to deal with this random background. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into tip number 1. So the first tip is going to be to go ahead and have your logo and your color scheme selected first. Now, why is this? Because your logo, your color scheme, and your theme and stuff like this is all stuff that kind of gets tied into one thing that creates your brand image. So it's going to be a lot harder to select the theme that is going to fit the vibe of your store without actually having a logo and a color scheme. So if you already have your logo and your color scheme, you can go ahead and test out different themes, then go ahead and insert your logo in it and insert your color scheme in it, and then see which one looks best, because sometimes different colors, different logos, it's all going to be a different vibe. So you want to have that done and taken care of out of the way before you go ahead and try and select your theme. And tip number 2 is going to be to make sure you're not afraid to go ahead and pick a paid theme. Now, I know a lot of people want to keep expenses down as cheap as possible, and I understand that, especially starting out. Your budget may not be too big. However, sometimes going out there and getting a paid theme is something that can really help separate you from the pack, from everyone out there, from everyone else, from all the other stores. It's something that can set your store, your brand apart from other people's and the competitors. So don't be afraid to spend a little extra money on a paid theme, because it is, while it is usually like $100, maybe $150, it is a one-time cost. So once you buy the theme, you just have it. So it's not like you have to continuously pay for that theme each month recurring or anything like that. So don't be afraid to look for a paid theme, as most of them actually look a little bit better and more professional and offer a lot of different design options that you can use to make your store look just that much better. So tip number 3 is going to be, before you go ahead and pick your theme, make sure you already have an idea in mind about how many products you want to sell. So how many products you want to sell, how big is your inventory going to be? And you may think this isn't relevant, but certain themes are actually specifically designed for stores that are only going to have a single product. Certain themes are designed for stores that are only going to have a few products, and then certain themes are designed for stores that are going to have a large inventory. So this is something that you definitely want to go ahead and figure out before you go ahead and pick your theme. You want to know, all right, am I going to have, is it a single product store? Am I going to go ahead and have 5 or 6 products, or am I going to have 50, 100 products? And knowing this will help you figure out which type of theme you want, because a lot of the themes, you can sort them by the size of inventory they're created for. And another good thing within this tip as well that you want to think about is, if you're going to have a lot of products in your store, also think about how many different categories you're going to have, because certain themes have just better menu options for listing different categories and stuff like that. So these are important things to keep in mind as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into tip number 4, which is, what type of vibe are you trying to portray? So what type of brand are you trying to establish? What type of feeling or emotion are you trying to create with your target market when your customers land on your store? So this may seem pretty complicated, but it's actually not if you simplify it and break it down. So the first thing you need to know is who is your target market. So you figure out your target market, which is essentially just your niche. And then you just got to think about what do they like, and then what sites do they constantly frequent. And then you want to go ahead and build your vibe, your store around other sites that they frequent. Build a vibe around things they're interested in. Think about what they would like. So you want to get inside the mind of your target customer, and then you want to picture, all right, so what type of design, what type of layout would make my customer feel right at home, would make them feel more comfortable, because the more comfortable and at home they feel, the more likely they are to buy. So getting inside the mind of your target market and knowing exactly the type of vibe you're trying to portray can help out a lot. So just to give you a quick example, let's say if you're selling electronics, then you're probably going to want to have a more serious, nice, organized looking store that looks kind of like, you could probably just go look at Best Buy for an example of that. So it's going to be more serious, organized, a lot of categories and stuff like that. So it's more of a just organized vibe. But let's say you're selling something like surfboards or something like that, something in maybe like the skateboarding niche, or something that's inherently, you would assume that your target market's a little more laid back. So maybe you create your entire store around more of like a laid back type of vibe and stuff like that. So that's just another way that you can connect with your audience, and doing stuff like this can actually raise your conversion rates as well. So the fifth tip is actually a quick little one, but it's something that a lot of people overlook, and it's to make sure that you check and see what your site looks like with the theme on mobile as well. Because a lot of times when people are picking themes, they go ahead and see what the theme looks like on desktop, because you're creating the store on desktop, but then they never check what it looks like on mobile, and then lo and behold, a month later, they're not getting any mobile sales, and it's because the theme either wasn't mobile friendly, or it just looks like complete shit on mobile. So it's definitely something you want to take into account. You absolutely want to go ahead and make sure that your theme looks good on both desktop and mobile, and you want to make sure that on mobile it's giving off the same vibe that you went ahead and selected earlier. And the last tip is that there's actually more themes that are just available in the Shopify app store, or the Shopify theme store for that matter. So if you create the store and you go into the theme store, there's the free themes and the paid themes. However, there's a lot of other sites online where you can get Shopify themes as well. If you just Google Shopify themes, you can find some more different sites that sell them. I know Theme Forest is a pretty big one. They have a lot of Shopify themes as well. So if you want to separate yourself from other stores, maybe you can get a theme from another site. You can even get maybe a custom made theme if you have a lot of money to invest and you really want something specific and you know exactly what you want. And kind of tip 6.5 going along with this is don't be afraid to hire a developer to get certain customizations on your theme. So maybe you like everything about a certain theme, but it just needs a little tweak. Maybe the menu's a little off. You can always go on a site like Upwork and go ahead and hire a developer to go ahead and get these type of tweaks done, these little tweaks. So maybe you like everything about the theme except one thing. Maybe it's worth going ahead and moving forward with that theme, but just getting the little tweak done so that way it fits exactly what you're looking for. So with that said, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you guys in another video.